So, anyone remembers what we did last time? Right? Sankhya. Sankhya is the whole chapter. But where will we discuss? Wisdom by 2.3 years. And what have we discussed? About misplaced compassion. Yes. And misplaced, what is real compassion? About what is misplaced compassion? What we generally do. And when we become compassionate for someone and thinking about their body, that we can help their body, we can support their body, rather than thinking about how we can support their soul. It doesn't mean that we should not be compassionate about someone on the body level. It also means that we should also be compassionate about their soul, not just body, that our job is done. Okay, what else? Saving someone's clothes rather than the body. Right. So that's what we are trying. We'll not go into that detail. So what was the second verse? What we discussed there? Sri Bhagwan Vachi. That's the first verse. Take it. We'll have a quick revision. Okay. Before that, we'll start the Purvachal. Om Ajnantimirandhasya Jnananjana-Shalakena Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namah Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa-Kalamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padikamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahajana Raghunatham Tam Sajivam साद्वैतम सावधूतम परिजन सहितम कृष्ण चैतन्य देवम श्री राधा कृष्ण बाला सगण ललिता श्री विशाखावितांश्च नमो विष्णु पादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी इति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे विशेष शुद्धवादी पाश्चात्य देशधारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गौरात्मसे नमः हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी कृष्णानुस्तुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर बंधु हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम So we'll quickly go for the first two verses. Right. So in first verse, what we discussed that we discussed Arjuna was full of compassion, and he was like after chapter 1 when he put his Gandhi down. So he was full of compassion, depressed, right, and Asrupur, you can see here written Asrupur, right, full of tears, and then what he says to Krishna. So here we discussed about compassion. What is the real compassion? Right, no one knows where the compassion should be applied. So what real compassion means? Right? It means for the eternal soul, not for the body. And we discuss some example like how we can go for the real compassion. Before that, these are the real compassion. We discuss some misplaced compassion. I think the slide is missed in this one. Okay. Then we're discussing being a Kshatriya, what was Arjuna's role in real, right? He should not behave like an ordinary man that who worried about the body rather than the soul. Then what he tells, we are discussing that it is sorry, what Bhagwan tells, right? What Krishna tells. So we are discussing that Sri Bhagwan Vacha. So there we discussed that why it is said Sri Bhagwan Vacha. Right? Why not Krishna Vacha? Why not any other? Right? Because Krishna is Sri Bhagwan, and everywhere in Bhagavad Gita you will see it's always Sri Bhagavan Vachari. And not only Bhagavad Gita, but also Srimad Bhagavatam and many other texts also. Because he is Bhagavan. So we discuss why he is Bhagavan, why he is referred as Bhagavan. Who is Bhagavan? The person. The one who is having six opulences in full, always complete. Purnamida, Purnamidam. Means even if you take some part of it, it will not be like, think of a situation infinite. If you take out 100 out of infinite, what would be the remaining number? Infinite. If you take 1000, it will still be infinite, right? Because it's infinite. So Bhagwan is like that. His food ever always complete. So whatever amount you can take out of from him, he will always be complete because he's unlimited. So we discussed like he is called, why he is called, he is referred to Bhagwan, why Krishna is referred to Bhagwan. So we had the group from Brahma Samhita and a lot of places. Then we discussed about how people understand Bhagwan. Some understand impersonal aspect of Bhagwan. Like there, he's like an energy, he's like a light, something like that, like Brahma Jyoti. So they think like after death will be immersed with the Brahma Jyoti. Then these people are called Jnani people. They have a lot of Jnana, they understand God is light or God is energy. Then there next set of people comes who are Dhyanis, who do the meditation on Lord. But where do the meditation? They do meditation on Paramatma. Right. They meditate on the Paramatma who is living inside our heart. Right. So we also discussed what is the problem with Jnani and Dhyani type of people. Not always, but mostly what happens. These Jnani people, they always like stuck with this impersonal aspect only. Like you are God, I am God, everyone is God. That philosophy, Mayavad, came from this particular kind of understanding only. Right. From when people have a lot of Gyan. They are always behind the Gyan rather than actually serving the Lord, serving the Vaishnava, doing the Bhakti. Right. It's like how much Gyan I can have. I met person, one of my son, Bandhu. Right. So we had a discussion after our Milan. So we're discussing about Bhagavad, like what we are doing. So I told like I just started taking Bhagavad Gita classes. So he was asking like, "Acha, kaise lete ho?" Matlab, and all those things. So I told, yeah, I'm taking the classes from ISKCON. And they said, okay. They said there was some discussion that he told like, I want I there was some smaller discussion कि ISKCON वाले गलत चीज सिखाते ही हो and all, ठीक है कि all five types there are Shankaracharya told there are five types of God. There's a longer discussion happened for half an hour or so, right? Then I had to come, so I said bye bye. Then in that discussion he came like I told him these things like these are proof. That is it. No, you don't understand. If you take one Purana, right, that may not be the proof, right? You have to read all the Purana. You have to read all the Upanishads, and then you will need all the lifetime to understand all those things. Forget about this lifetime, you are going to understand everything. So these are the problem with the Jnani people. They're like, how much Gyan I can have, right? When I'll have all the Gyan in the world, then only I'll realize. Right? And we know how is it possible. एक जिंदगी में लोग से भगवत गीता खत्म नहीं होती है, all Purana, all Upanishad, all Veda सब पढ़ के बैठ जाएंगे, and in the end what happened? They get so much Gyan that they just become Jnani and they don't do anything. And then one day, over, next line फिर से again ABCD से ज्ञान शुरू होगा. That's the problem with it, right? Then what is the problem with Dhyani people? They meditate on the Paramatma. Paramatma is nothing but Krishna. But the problem with that is a lot of them, because of their meditation, they gain the Siddhi. They become Siddha Purus. And most of them, what happens once they gain these powers, all mystical powers like flying in the air or hanging from tree from many years, walking on the fire, right? Well, these kind of thing, and they're like, oh, okay, I got some power, let me show the world. And people will say, oh, Bhagwan aa gaye. Right? Then people also make anyone Bhagwan, jo bhi thodi si power dikhayega, Bhagwan, Bhagwan. Right? So our society has been made because of this. You are God, we are God, everyone is God, so everyone is God. So no one is God and everyone is God. That problem has come, and so everyone is Bhagwan. And they started worshipping him. These guys like puffed up. You got into ego. Okay, I'm Bhagwan. People are worshipping me. That's it. Right. Bhakti is over. Finished. So these are the problems. Not all Jnani and Dhyani go to that way. A lot of people actually go from, because this is the way Krishna has told, that is also a way, a longer way, that you first gain the knowledge, then you go for the meditation, then you come to the Bhakti Yoga. In the end, everyone has to come to Bhakti Yoga. So you have to go to, say, Mataji ki place, let's say, Odisha, There are multiple ways you can, from here you can take one, you can either directly will take a car and reach there, or you can simply go to यहाँ से बस स्टेशन जाइए, बस स्टेशन से थोड़ी बस लीजिए till border, then वहां से थोड़ा बगल में कहीं और चले जाइए, then वहां से ट्रेन लीजिए, maybe you reach somewhere, घूम घाम के 2 दिन में तो आप पहुंच जाएंगे. There are a lot of ways, so you can take either elevator, straight elevator, direct to Godhead, right? Or you can go through all the marga and then reach there. So, Prabhupada gives example like sun sign, sun surface, and sun planet. When we see from here, like all we see the sun side, and we think we know sun because this is the sun side. Sun is also nothing but sun side, right? Hydrogen and helium's reaction, fusion reaction, and it comes as sun side to it. Right? So we know sun. When people reach nearby, so he gives one more example, very beautiful example, I think. Right. So when we reach near, we see the sun disk. And we okay, sun is like round. We understand a little more. But still we don't understand the sun. Right. We understand, okay, what is the shape of it, what quality is a little more near to God. And then when we reach even nearer, like inside the planet, then we actually realize, okay, now we know who are the inhabitants of sun planet and we know them. Obviously, humans cannot do that, but at the soul level, right? Soul can reach there and do that. So, Srila Prabhupada gives one beautiful example in the same regard, like a mountain. When you see a mountain from very far, how does it feel? Like, it just looks like there are rocks, right? A mountainous rock from many kilometers. When you reach a little nearer, you see a little more qualities to it. You see, okay, it was not all rock. There are some trees, there are some rocks, there is some waterfall also. So, but still you don't realize water. But when you start climbing on it, then you realize, okay, there is small rock, there is a grass, there is a big trees, and all those things, right? So the bhakti yoga is like that. When you actually get to know the Bhagwan personally by serving him, that is the bhakti yoga. That is knowing the sun planet. So we discussed that point, and then is Brahma Jyoti the real Bhagwan? We discussed that. What our Shastra say. Is Paramatma the real Bhagwan? Right. What our Shastra say. And in the end, is Krishna the Supreme Personality of Godhead? So we discussed. We had a lot of examples from Bhagavad Gita, from Srimad Bhagavad. Very good. From Narayana Upanishad, even Atharva Veda, right? Vishnu Puran. So all these places we saw example. What does our Shastra say of Sri Krishna's perspective Godhead? And so we were here, and then we were discussing about this particular verse, what happens. Right? So we discussed like what Bhagwan said, like Kutastva, like from where are you getting this kind of understanding, Arjuna? You are my devotee. You are a Kshatri. A Kshatri by default, like they are not knowledgeable person, right? A Kshatri, a king, family of king, they also have to go through a lot of knowledge. They are no less than like they are lesser than Brahmana, but in knowledge wise, but they are not like someone who does not have any kind of knowledge. Right, so they also have a lot of knowledge, and he's a devotee. He knows all the things. Then, from where are you getting this kind of feeling? Because in the end, what will happen? It will, because you are thinking on the bodily. What will happen? You will only. It will cause you a kirti here. Anarjistam akirti, Arjuna. Right? It will cause you defamation. Like the people will think like infamy, you are doing infamy. It's not justified for you to think like that or behave like an ordinary person. Right. So here we'll start with two. Any question? We'll go further from 2.3 to. Oh, TV is not there. If you have Bhagavad Gita, then you can open. The DJ will take some time to switch on. Right. Uh, yeah, you can repeat just. Clap your hands. नैतत्व उपपद्यते क्षुद्रं हृदय दौर्बल्यं त्यक्त्योस्तिष्ठ परतप. Again, clap your mass magama partha. नैतत्व नैतत्वैयुपपद्यते सुप्तं हृदय दौर्बल्यं त्यक्तोत्तिष्ठ परन्तप क्लैप्यमास्पदमपार्थ नैतत्वैयुपपद्यते सुप्तं हृदय दौर्बल्यं त्यक्तोत्तिष्ठ परन्तप. Anyone from the क्लैप्यमास्पदमपार्थ नैतत्वैयुपपद्यते सुप्तं हृदय दौर्बल्यं त्यक्तोत्तिष्ठ परन्तप. क्लैप्यमास्पदमपार्थ नैतत्वैयुपपद्यते शुद्धं देवोपल्यं त्यक्तोत्तिष्ठ. Translated by His Divine Grace, Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. O son of Partha, do not yield to this degrading impotency. It does not become you. Give up such petty weakness of heart and arise, O chastiser of the enemy. So here, uh, so in Bhagavad Gita until now, we have seen a lot of names which has been given to Arjuna. Anyone remembers? Partha, son of Pritha. What else? Dhananjay, who has earned the wealth for Yudhishthira when he was going to do the Aswamedh Rasuyad. What else? Kaunte, son of Kunti. Yes. What else? Kapidwaja. Right. So these are Pandava, one of the Pandava. Right. So these are the names you know. But here a new name comes from Arjuna. Parantapa. Parantapa means subduer of the enemy. The one who defeats the enemy. In front of him, the enemy goes down. Right. They accept defeat. Right. So here Krishna is saying, "O subduer of the enemy." Right. You are when why he says subduer of the enemy, like you are son of Pritha. You are son of Pritha means he came from Indra. Right. He was born out of the womb from Indra. Correct. So all the Pandavas are actually one devatas. So Kunti Maharani she had one boon that she can do ahvan. She can call a devata and the son which are born they will have the qualities of that devata. So Arjuna was born because of the with the qualities of Indra, right? Because he got Indra. So he was saying like you are the son of Indra. You are Parth. Parth also he tells him the same, right? You are Parth who was born with the qualities of Indra. You are pure blood of Kshatri, Indra. Like even though in all serials Indra is so much maligned, but he's a devotee of the Lord. Right. There are reasons why Indra always he has been shown as an example. Because Lord shows us example how to live in the world, how to behave, how to do sadachar through his devotees. We'll discuss that even more in today's session. Right. So he is son of Indra. And Indra was known as subduer of the enemy. He could defeat a lot of, not all the demons, but a lot of demons just like that. Right. That is the reason he is the king of all the devas. Right. So he is born of the pure Kshatriya blood. But even though he's born of pure Kshatriya blood, he's a pure Kshatriya devotee of the Lord. Why he is having this kind of feeling? Clapyam mas magam apartham. Like why he's having this degrading impotency kind of thought that showing weakness, Asrupurin, his he's all depressed, tears are flowing out from his eyes. So that's what saying like in front of you the enemies surrender, they accept the defeat, and you are here behaving like an ordinary person crying here in the battlefield. So, in purport, let's see what Srila Prabhupada says here. Arjuna was addressed as son of Krishna. What happened to be sister of Krishna's father Vasudeva. Therefore, Arjuna has a blood relationship with Krishna. If the son of Kshatriya declines to fight, he is a Kshatriya in the name only. And if the son of a Brahmana acts impiously, he is a Brahmana in the name only. Such Kshatriya and Brahmanas are unworthy son of father. Very important line. And hugely related or humongously related in today's time. Right. Who is Brahmana in today's time? Papa Brahmana है, दादा ब्राह्मण थे, नाम में शुक्ला है तो you are Brahmana. Right. Who is Shudra? क्योंकि नाम में आपका सरनेम ऐसे चलता आ रहा है तो you are Shudra. और क्षत्रिय हम राजपूत हैं. करते क्या है? दिन भर बैठ के ट्विटर पे फाइट करते हैं. लेकिन हम तो राजपूत हैं. So it has become like that. It was never like this. Vedic times, these titles were not given with your surname or where you are born with. Yes, someone can say then why all the kings' sons and all are there called a Kshatriya? Because they were actually having qualities of Kshatriya. It is not because they were born there. Uh, we discussed one Rishi, right? He had 100 sons. 22 of his sons were they were Brahmana. Then a lot of his sons were Sudra. Some of his sons were Kshatriya. So they went to all different places. One father, he was Brahmana. He was a Rishi. I think Atri Rishi. Right. He had 100 sons and everyone was of different. So it is on the qualities, not on where we are born with. So very important. Nowadays, Kshatriya and Brahmana, they act only in the name of Brahmana. Right. Eating meat, doing after they will do puja, they will go to in the evening, go to some bar and then full sense gratification. Right. Think of all the sins Brahmana will be doing in today's time. And then when they are awake, then they will write Vyan Brahmana, Brahmans first, or whatever. Nowadays, the new trend is that Brahmin genes. Right, if anyone has seen. So, this kind of thing, only in the name of Brahmana. Or same thing with the Kshatriya also. If there is a fight, they will first want to run away with the Patli Gali. But still they are Satyam Rajput. ऐसे मत बोलो. So, only in the name. And such people, what Srila Prabhupada says, such Kshatriya Brahmanas are unworthy son of their father. If their father is also like that, then actually they are also unworthy son. Right? If they are calling themselves as Brahmana and Kshatriya, they should not be calling. They are not worthy of calling themselves as that. So therefore, Krishna did not want Arjuna to become unworthy son of a Kshatriya. And what is why unworthy son of Kshatriya? Why Krishna says that? What is the reason? He does not want Arjuna to become unworthy son of Kshatriya. Now, Pandu was a Kshatriya, correct? But why is saying you'll become unworthy son of Kshatriya? So he's not going for his responsibility. What is his duty? A Kshatriya's duty is to fight for dharma, right? Not just fight. It's not like a car lada diya. That's it. I'm Kshatriya. Now I'll show you Rajput blood. Car puncture karke aaye. Right? Not that. Fight for dharma. That is the right. That is the duty and responsibility of a Kshatriya. But here Arjuna is doing not fighting. Right? He's like I don't want to fight. So Arjuna is the most intimate friend of Krishna, and Krishna was directly guiding him on the chariot. But in spite of all these credentials, for Arjuna abandoned the battle, he would be committing an infamous act, right? Like last time with Akirti. Therefore, Krishna said that such an attitude in Arjuna did not fit his personality. So last time we were discussing, we'll little elaborate on that. So last time we were discussing the role of Kshatriya, a king. A king being a Kshatriya, what they have to do? They have to fight for dharma, and anywhere they see that there is an adharma which is going on, they actually have to stop. That is their duty. If they see a criminal has to be punished. They are called, the king is called Nardev. Right. They are not really equivalent to a god, right? But they are equivalent to a dev for ordinary praja. So Sanatan Goswami, he was everyone knows Sanatana Goswami, right? Right. One of the Sadgurus, right? So and I'll tell you the story later someday. Right. So Sanatana Goswami, he was working under a Muslim ruler in Bengal as one of his ministers. Very knowledgeable person. That was knowledgeable that when he wanted to leave, when he met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he learned that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is coming. He had learned a lot about, he has heard a lot about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so he wanted to meet him. When he came to know that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is coming and he saw him, he like, I'm going to leave everything. But he was high minister, finance minister actually, in the kingdom of that uh, one ruler, Hussain Shah, something. I think some Hussain Shah. Right. So his name was Khadir Khan, Khadir Khas or something like. Right. So even his name was changed. He was a son of Brahmana. He was not Muslim really, but because he was working under Muslim, so he had converted himself. He was converted. Right. So when he saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was like, I want to leave everything. I want to join Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his mission. But when he revealed his intention to his king, what the king said? No, you cannot leave. I cannot run the kingdom without you. Right? He that much dependency he had on Sanatana Goswami. He said, no, you cannot leave. If you are even thinking of leaving, I'll punish you. I'll get you killed. Right? So he asked Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He like consulted him like what shall we do? He said like you plan it slowly, not like that. He had a bigger plan for his any like long story. So even when the king was Muslim, the point here is even when the king was Muslim, Sanatan Goswami treated him as a Dardev. Like if he's saying I should not live, I should not live. Not at least this point of time. Right. And if he's saying like I will punish you, I should take the punishment. He said like okay, you want to punish me, you can do me any kind of punishment you want. If you want to kill me, you can kill me. Right. Because he considered the king as a Nardev. So that is the regard king had for the Praja that time. So king's duty, last time we were discussing, king's duty is to punish criminals. That if they are seeing any criminal having doing a crime or if they find any criminal, first of all they have to punish them. If there is a heinous crime, they have to actually kill them. But now why killing? Right. If you think on the modern term, right, killing is our constitution. What does it say about killing? Or for the capital punishment? Anyone knows? When a capital punishment should be given to a criminal? Rarest of the rare cases, right? It means extremely rare actually. Like in last 10 years, I think only few, maybe two, three people or four people have gotten capital punishment, no one else. And that also after lot of mercy petitions, two and four here and there. So that also point we last time we discussed about misplaced compassion. So the king's duty is to punish those criminals. Right? A capital punishment in modern term we are thinking it's a bad thing, but it's not really. Because now let's discuss why it's not a bad thing. Right? You can put a logic or human rights organization, they can put a logic that everyone has a right to live. Everyone deserves second chances and all the big dialogues. But then what about those people who were killed by these people? Did they deserve second chance? Did they have right to live? They all, right? The rarest of the rare cases actually comes in extremely rare cases like terrorist activity, killing hundreds of or many people, 20, 30, hundreds of people. Right? It does not come for a petty murder or there are some even like such kind of heinous crimes. It does not come for any kind of crime. So king's duty is to punish, but nowadays it is gone. It is not being followed. The problem here is because of this misplaced compassion, people started again doing showing compassion for their body. But because they are not getting the punishment, these criminals are not getting the punishment, they have to suffer more. They have to suffer a lot of not getting the punishment. Their soul will be gone to hell. काफी निडर है, काफी सारे लोग को आज Okay, so their souls will be going to hell, right? But when they get capital punishment, it's like this sin is over for you. So it's actually a real compassion on these criminals. It's really a compassion for them, on their soul, not on their body. When we see on the bodily term, we think like these are heinous things, this is not moral and all those ethical point of view. But it's like a harming their soul. It's like a committing sin for their soul. And when a king shows such kind of misplaced compassion, actually he has to suffer the consequences. He also has to suffer the consequences along with the person who has done the crime. Right. So we discussed the same thing in the Parikshit Maharaj story last time. That when he saw Kali Yuga who was hunting the cow, he took out his sword like I'll kill you right now. So we discussed Kali Yuga, then asked for the forgiveness, and then he said, you have to get out of my kingdom. But the whole world was Bharatvarsha. We discussed that Bharatvarsha was not just the boundary what we see today, or 50 years, not 50, sorry, 80 years back, Akhand Bharat. It was not just that Bharat. The whole earth was actually Bharatvarsha, and the King Parikshit was the king of the whole Bharatvarsha, the complete place. So he said, like, where will I live? Like, if you're forbidding me from your kingdom, then I don't have a place to live. So he told these four places where you can live. The place where people do alcohol consumption, intoxication. The place where people do gambling, where illicit sex is happening, right? And then where meat eating or the slaughterhouses, these kind of places only you can live. Our four regulative principles, right? So now we're discussing this point. Like nowadays, when criminal comes, when a heinous crime comes and the person is caught. Take example of these are some examples for Yaqub Menon, for Kasab, like those terrorists which killed in like multiple people together. They did such a terrible crime, and still there are human rights organizations who were like filing mercy petition after petition that they deserve second chances. This happened. This is all the news, right? You can see hanging of Afzal Guru's violation of international standard of its sentence. Right. Same thing for the this person Yaqub Minan. We all know these are all terrorists who were involved in killing hundreds of people in our country, and there were mercy petitions were filed for them. Even if someone remembers this Kasab story, like the next day his hanging was there, night 2 o'clock, mercy petition was filed. Another petition was filed in Supreme Court. Night 2 o'clock. Supreme Court even opened at 2 o'clock in the night. Can you think of it? That Supreme Court, where the cases are running from 40 years, they don't have time to even uh, listen to the next next hearing. They opened the court at 2 o'clock in the night just to listen to that petition. Thankfully, that was rejected. But yeah, misplaced compassion. This is exactly what it is. Right. Rajiv Gandhi, when he was assassinated, these criminals they just did not kill Rajiv Gandhi. They killed a lot of people. Right. But even for them, just because they are Tamil, so we have compassion for them. They should be released. This is exactly what misplaced compassion means. Right? When we don't apply compassion, but when they are actually punished at the right time, not like it's 40 years we are putting them in the jail and then petition after petition, case after case, and this and that, and then we are getting punishment. They are already suffering. So that is actually the point of human rights organization. You have already suffered the mirror. They should get the punishment as soon as it is proven. That's it. Not like waiting for the election time to give the punishment. Just 1 month before election. Okay, election is there. Let's get some votes. Hang them. This is exactly what happened in 2014 and a lot of other times. So, and irony is these these human rights organizations, the same human rights organization who are advocating this compassion for such terrorists, such criminals who are doing heinous crime, they don't show this same compassion for the brood hatya, for the killing of fetus inside the womb, the fetus who cannot defend itself. 15 crore abortions, 15 million abortions every year happens in India. every year, and that is 2015 figure. No one cares about that. Even it is advertised, my body, my rules. Right? If you see in US, that is what my body, I will take care of like all. That fetus in the womb, they cannot defend himself. If there is a child outside, you see them, or anyone who sees them, no one like a very few people will actually dare to harm that child because they can see, right? He will raise a hand. He can have some way to defend. You're seeing that child, but that fetus no one can see. Then instrument will be put in the womb and then cut into pieces, taken out. No human right organization shows that kind of compassion at that point. Actually, where they have to show, but they will show the compassion for these kind of people. This is exactly where misplaced compassion comes. Right. We don't know what actually has to be done because we are just following all the nonsense morality of the material world rather than what is given in our scripture. People are not even aware what they will follow. And even if they are aware, they are still the bodily level. Like Arjuna is showing it here. Like he's thinking about his swajan on the bodily level and he's showing the compassion for them. So that's why Krishna called him Hridaya Daurbalyam. Like Shukram Hridaya Daurbalyam. Small heartedness. Right, weak, small and weak-heartedness. Why are you showing this kind of weak-heartedness when you are in the battlefield? You are a devotee. You should not. It is not expected from you. So, uh, in further purport, Srila Prabhupada says, Arjuna might want to argue that he would give up the battle on the grounds of magnanimous attitude for the most respectable Bheesma and his relative. So he will actually do that. It is not because of Chudhridaya Daurbalyam. It is not because of weak-heartedness I am going to do that. But it is because of my strong-heartedness. Because it's not because I am weak, but because these are respectable people. These people are worshipable. They are my guru. They are my pitama. Right. It is not because I am having compassion for them, but because they are respectable, worshipable people. That's why I am showing this kind of compassion. He will tell that. But now the point is, even though Arjuna is thinking in that way, Krishna does not approve of this kind of compassion. Right. He also knows that Bhishma, Drona, and all those relatives are your relatives. They are your guru, they are your pitama, they are your brothers. Right. He knows that. But still he commands, go and fight and kill them. He does not approve of such kind of compassion. Krishna does not approve. Right. So in this world, in modern world, what we see, everyone has their own opinion. Like my body, my rules, there is my opinion also. Same way. So everyone has a different parameters of um, deciding what actually where compassion should be applied or what is actually moral thing, what is ethics. What is ethical for you may not be ethical for someone else, right? There is a saying in English uh, about food, something, right? One animal's food is another animal's, something like that. Or one person's sorrow is another person's joy. Yeah, not food actually, right? It was not. So what is ethical for someone, it may not be ethical for another person. Very important thing. You may think like, oh, you are a nationalist, so you may think like, okay, hanging of Yaqub Milan is absolutely right. Do it right now. The other person beside who's a little more compassionate, no, he may deserve second chance. Everyone deserves a second chance. Third person, okay, he has suffered already in the jail for 40 years. Now you can give him second life, release him. Everyone thinks a different thing, right? Because we all understand at different level. Then what is the absolute? What is the truth? How morality should be defined then? What do you think? How morality should be defined in that case? Because everyone is thinking different thing in the world. What is the way? Our law also works like that, right? Someone think यहीं पे तो जाना है तो ठीक है थोड़ा सा बचा के wrong side से will cross. Right. You'll think like no, rules are there for a reason. We should always go by right route or by the right side only. Right मतलब not the direction right. Right मतलब correct side. So what defines the morality? Because everyone is thinking other thing. What is your how do you think? What Shastra says, right? But even Shastra says that, Dharma Shastra says that, don't kill your elders, don't kill your uh, guru, don't even harm that, your guru. We'll see in the next purport. Shastra says that. Then what defines the morality then? He is doing the correct thing, Arjuna, by Shastra, if we say.
Negotiation for peace has been already done. There is a context, and now they are on the battlefield. After all the negotiations have failed, we are on the another side.
Yeah, but no, the point here, the question here is, how can we say this is moral? What is the absolute morality? What is the absolute ethics? God's word, right? We discussed धर्मम तो साक्षात भगवान प्रणीतम. धर्म वही है जो भगवान बोलते हैं. There is no other dharma. His words are the dharma. Nothing else. Our books does not matter. There you'll take 10 books and it may say 10 different things. Right. Other book will say that if the guru is on the path of a dharma, like Prabhuji is saying, he should be killed. He should be punished. Then he actually let go of his guru dharma. Then he becomes an ordinary person. He can be punished. So Shastra override each other. But then what is absolute? God's word. And here Krishna is saying, Arjuna, go and fight. Kill those adharmic people. So we'll discuss more about adharma also today. Right. So Krishna says that it's not a compassion what you are showing. It's a Sukdam Hridaya Daurbalyam. Right. And the point comes like, what is Hridaya Daurbalyam? So there is one thing which our Shastra also says that when a violence should be applied, if it is needed to do the violence and it is not done, then it is actually wrong. And when a violence should not be done, in that case, if violence is done, then also it is wrong. So it is all context. Bhagavad Gita does not tell you, we discussed that. It is not a book of violence or non-violence. Bhagavad Gita tells what is the right thing to do. Right. Where the violence has to be applied, where violence does not has to be applied. But it's not a book of violence or non-violence. Like one of our Pita, Rashtrapita, I mean. Like he said, the Bhagavad Gita teaches us about non-violence, ahimsa paramo dharma. Right. Bhagavad Gita starts itself with go and fight. The whole book is about fighting. To encourage Arjuna to go and fight. How can it be a book of ahimsa? Right? Because it's about doing the right thing, not doing whatever we think of is correct or not. So all these problems, there's a total confusion in the world because we do not realize this point. There's a total confusion like where the compassion should be applied, what our Shastra says that where uh, where all these morality has to be actually put down, right? Where all these morality should be followed. There's a total confusion. Why? Because people do not understand the concept of the body and the soul. They are still, most of the people, 99.99% of the people, is still stuck with the body concept of the life. They think this is the life, 70 years, 80 years of life, that's it. Uske baad kisne dekha. Right, so they don't understand. And because of not understanding the concept of the soul, this all problem comes. Here Arjuna is also thinking the same way. But the good thing here is Arjuna is coming to the perfect master, Krishna, who can actually let go of this doubt from Arjuna. So we'll see. Arjuna is still not finished. He will give more reasons. What all reasons he is going to give? He's like, I'm not done. I still have more reasons not to fight. So he's doing his best not to fight. But these all reasons are not some petty reasons. These are all from the Shastra. We discussed that in chapter 1. All reasons are very strong reasons. If there was not Krishna, probably we would have surrendered. Yes, your reasons are absolutely right. If elders are died, then who will take care of the family? Who will pass on the knowledge? And a religion will be spread all over the world. Women will not be protected. Right? All those reasons are very logical reasons. And then at the end, he says that at the chapter 1 that this is all I heard from all my superiors, my guru, my sastra. So you cannot say that it is all my concoction, like I have made up in my mind. This is all what I heard. This is all what written in the Shastra. So very strong points. If you go to the court and say that this is all your decisions, in the last 4 decisions you told the same justice, this, your court cases say the similar condition, this should be the result of it. So court will be like, okay, because we told the same thing previously, obviously we put a lot of thought, so they will most likely to follow uh, the same response, the same justice. Okay, so that's what. So he's going to give more reasons. So we'll go to next verse, here where Arjun is trying to speak. Arjun uvacha katham bhisma maham sankhye द्रोणं च मधुसूदन इषुभिः प्रतियोत्स्यामि पूजार्हं वरिसूदन. अर्जुन उवाच कथं भीष्मं संख्ये द्रोणं च मधुसूदन इषुभिः प्रतियोत्स्यामि पूजार्हं वरिसूदन. अर्जुन उवाच कथं भीष्मं संख्ये द्रोणं च मधुसूदन इषुभिः प्रतियोत्स्यामि पूजार्हं वरिसूदन. Arjun uvaच कथं भीष्मं संख्ये द्रोणं च मधुसूदन इषुभिः प्रतियोत्स्यामि पूजार्हं वरिसूदन. So translation by his divine message of the last one, Srila Prabhupada. Arjuna said, O killer of enemies, O killer of Madhu, how can I counterattack with arrows in battle men like Bheesma and Drona who are worthy of my worship? Right. So, names again. So, previously in the previous verse, Krishna tells Arjuna, Parantapa, subduer of the enemy. Now it's Arjun's turn. He tells two names for Krishna, Madhusudana and Arisudana. Madhusudana means killer of demon Madhu, right? Demon Madhu. And Arisudana means killer of his enemies or demons, right? So he says that very again logically and also very uh, okay. So he says that, oh Krishna, you are Madhusudana, the killer of demons. You are the subduer or killer of your enemies, Arisudana. But whom you want me to kill? My Guru, my Pitama, right? You want me to be Dronasudana? You want me to be Bheesma, right? So he tells that you kill only your enemies and the demons, but you want me to kill my own Swajana who are not really my enemies, right? Or not really demon. He is still thinking that they are not his enemies, right? And they are not like they are not adharmic people. So he tells it that way. In purport, very interesting thing comes that would ever Krishna ever attack his own grandfather Ugrasena or his teacher Sandipani Muni? Right? He says that, are you Ugrasen Sudana? Are you Sandipani Muni Sudana? Then why you want me to be Drona Sudana or Bhisma Sudana? Like this is not right. You should not force me to kill the people whom I worship, who are worshipable, who are respectable for me. Right. So from here, he actually tells that it is not because of my weak-heartedness that I am giving you these reasons, but it is because I am strong-heartedness, and my reasons are they are my worshipable people. They are worshipable, and our Shastra says the same thing, that elders, here written on the top, respectable superiors like Bheesma and the grandfather and the Dronacharya, the teacher, are always worshipable. Even if they attack, they should not be counter-attacked. The Dharma Shastra says that. Our own Shastra, it says that. We should always respect our elder people, our Guru. So very important, and he is just quoting the Shastra. And it is general etiquette that superiors are not to be offered even a verbal fight. And forget about even harming them. Even verbal fights should not happen. Now it is what we see in our society, like forget about superiors and all, mother, father, anyone, whatever. Verbal fight is the first one which people do. Anyone remembers in the old days it was like कि बड़ों के सामने आवाज नहीं उठानी. Like you should not raise your voice uh, in front of elders. Like wherever, even if you agree, don't agree. Nowadays that is gone. Even we have done all these things. Right? What? Why to blame others? We all have done this thing with our mother, father, dadi, dada, everyone. We have raised voice. Earlier it was not like that. Even if they are wrong, we know that people cannot even have verbal fight with them. That was the norm, which is completely gone now. Right? We think like this is what the old time regressive people, regressive types of mentality. I'm modern, so I should tell what is right. आपको क्या पता है? नहीं, आप लोग पुराने हो. We have done that right in our teenage, or even now also sometimes. So yeah, so our shastra says that they should not even be offered a verbal fight. And yeah, sometimes even if they are sometimes harsh in behavior, they should not be harshly treated. So he says that even Arjuna says that even Bhishma, Drona, all those people are on the opposite side. I know that they are on the side of adharma, right? They are doing the wrong thing. I am completely aware of that. But because our Shastra says that this is the norm, this is how we should behave, I should not harm them, I should not kill them, I should not even fight with them. Right. So I am doing what our culture is, what our Shastra says that. I am following Dharma. He is thinking that he is following Dharma. Right. And why he is thinking? Because he is still at the body level and at max at the Shastra level. But he is forgetting one point. What is that one point? What he is forgetting? Sorry? It's Ades of Bhagwan. Dharma to Sakshat Bhagwan Pranitam. Right. He is forgetting that point. That the biggest dharma is to follow the Lord. Nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. Right. Absolutely no reason to do any other thing. So he says that in this verse that Ishubi Pratiyotshami. Ishubi means Pratiyotshami means counter attack. उनका उनके लिए प्रतिकार करना उनका ठीक and then Ishubi by arrows. So how can I pierce their bodies with my sharp arrows? They are my respectable, worshipable people. How can you think I'm doing that, which is harming them, which is going to cause them pain? That's why these words are there. You can simply say, fight with them. But those sharp words, when you imagine it, that the arrow is going inside, the blood is coming out, and the pain, they are crying in the pain and all those things. So these words are all word games here, like telling the description of how it would look like if the respectable and worshipable people are treated like that. This is not good. He's saying that they are purja like puja yogi. So he tells that the same thing. Like you are subduer of them, you are the killer of the enemies and demons, and you want me to kill my own people. And that Shastra says that superiors should not be harmed or even fought against. So what I am doing is the correct thing here. But he's forgetting one thing, right? So actually, verse 4 and 5 should go together hand in hand. So we'll discuss verse 5 and then we'll discuss in detail. So this point, before we go to that, Ugrasen and Sandipani Muni, Right, this purport that may look like from where this came. So our Acharya, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he has actually explained this verse in that way. That when Arjuna says that it was his mood in that way, that why he says Madhusudana Narisudana. To emphasize that the only enemies should be killed. Right. And these people are not my enemies. Just same way like Ugrasen and Sardipani Muni are not your enemy. Same way these are also my Guru and Pitama, my grandfather. They are not my enemy. Don't force me to kill them. So it is. So Srila Prabhupada in his purport he takes from our Acharya also, our previous Acharya, and put some very important points there. So it came from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's explanation, his commentary on Bhagavad Gita. Right, so we'll go to Bhagavad Gita 2.5. Guru Nahatva Himahanubhavan Sreyo Bhaktum Bhajme Bhajmapi Haloke Hatvartha Kamat Sutam Guru Nihaiva Jiya Bhogan Rudhir Pradigdhana Bhujji Bhogan Rudhir Pradigdhan Guru Hatva Himahanubhava Sreyo Bhoktum Bhajmapi Haloke Bhajmapi Haloke. ठीक है श्रेयो भोक्तुम भक्षमपि हलोके we'll start again Guru Nahatva Himahanubhavan Sreyo Bhoktum Bhajmapi Haloke Aswartha Kamas Tu Guru Nihaiva Bhujji Bhogan Rudhira Pradigdhan. Anyone from Prabhuji's name? You have to change it. Anyone? It would be better to live in this world by begging than to live at the cost of the lives of great souls, who are my teachers. Even though desiring worldly gain, they are superiors. If they are killed, everything we enjoy would be tainted with blood. Similar reasons, what he has told before, but elaborating even more. Right. That it's better that I will go and beg, even though I'm a Kshatriya, right, whose duty is to fight, do the administration. Actually, begging is something which is forbidden for Kshatriya. Our Shastra says that Kshatriya must not beg. He has a right. He should get what is his right. That is why you see that in Mahabharata, when Pandava, like when Duryodhana said, "Will I'll not give you anything," when he took the kingdom, they said, "Because we are Kshatriya, at least give us 5 villages. We have the whole Bharat Varsha. 5 villages is like what 0.001% for you. It's nothing. Just 5 villages. You have the whole Bharat Varsha. You rule all over the world. Just give us 5 villages because we are Kshatriya. So it is our duty to rule and then uh, follow the Kshatriya Dharma and do the things like administer on the people, rule on the people, and then do the king, like have all kingdom, small kingdom. They just said just 5 villages, but even that he did not agree. The region of Mahabharata. So a Kshatriya first duty like he cannot a Kshatriya must not beg. But what Arjuna here is saying, it, it would be better to live in the world by begging. I'm even ready to beg. I'll leave my Kshatriya Dharma, I'll become a beggar. Right. But I will not kill my own Swajan. I will not kill my own teachers who are the great souls. They're worshipable, they're respectable for him. That's why he's calling them great souls. He may have not used the same term for if there are only, say, Duryodhana, Dusasan, Karna. But because they had a lot of respectable people also on the Kaurava side. That's why he's using these terms. Like they're respectable, worshipable people. And they're the great souls. So why again the point he told in the chapter one also? These worldly gains, these all the Raj part enjoyment, what will I whom will I enjoy all these things with when everyone is killed? Right, they are my superiors. If they are killed, the whole enjoyment, even if I could enjoy somehow, it will be tainted with blood. Right, more graphic description. Right, my enjoyment will always be tainted with blood. I'll always in the back of mind, I have gained this kind of enjoyment by doing this wrong thing. So he's putting the logic. We'll see what Srila Prabhupada says in purport. Right. So according to scriptural code, a teacher who engages in an abominable action and has lost his sense of discrimination is fit to be abandoned. Right. Important line. A teacher should, first of all, a teacher should not be discriminatory. Right. But when there is a clear distinction between dharma and adharma, not only a teacher, any soul, right? They should always choose the right side. So that is what mentioned here. But if they are not doing, that is what our Shastra says then. If they are not following what is prescribed in our Shastra, that means they are doing adharma. And because Drona, Bheesma, they chose the side of adharma, right? They are doing the wrong things. We'll discuss that after this. Are they doing the wrong thing? So, according to our scriptural code, they are fit to be abandoned. And why it is said by Srila Prabhupada that they are fit to be abandoned? What is the reason? What do you think is the reason it is being said? What will happen if they are abandoned? Hmm? It is written that if a teacher, right, he is engaging in abominable action on the side of adharma, he is fit to be left. You can leave the teacher. That's a hint. Why it is written here? Don't think on the teacher's perspective, think on Arjuna's perspective. Right. He has to fight again. Don't think they are your gurus anymore. You abandon your guru. You abandon your relatives. Now they are adharmic people. No more guru for you. And that's what our Shastra also says that they can be left, they can be abandoned. Right. So take out from your mind that they are your gurus and this and that. Just follow what is right. That's what Srila Prabhupada wrote here. They are fit to be abandoned. But now, Bhishma and Drona were obliged to take the side of Duryodhana. Now, why they have taken the side? Right? We know that Bhishma was a great, he's a one of the greatest devotee of Lord Krishna. Right? He's not a simply ordinary person or very strong person. He's the greatest devotee of Lord Krishna. Dronacharya, he's the most when Duryodhana calls Dronacharya, he tells them Vipro में सर्वश्रेष्ठ मतलब the best of the brahmanas, right? He tells them because he's just extremely knowledgeable person. He he just not knows only about the weaponry or the war knowledge or the क्या कहते हैं युद्ध शास्त्र, but he also knows about all the shastras. He's a brahmana predominantly, right? He's a brahmana first of all. So they are not ordinary people. They knew what is right and wrong, but still they chose to be on the side of Kaurava. What is the reason? Right. We'll see that today. So before the war started, Dronacharya, like being that knowledgeable, he knew that there would be time. There is a big tension between Kauravas and Pandavas. Right, a lot of things are happening. He knew there will be time. Very soon, the time is coming that there will be a big war, and I will have to take side. And because I am on financial consideration of Kauravas, that time Dhritarashtra was the caretaker. Because I am on financial consideration of Kauravas, I have to take their side. Right. So he calls Arjuna and tells that this will happen for sure. Right. But I'm giving you all the knowledge what I have. I have told you everything. I am giving you the best of what I can teach. Right. When the time comes, do not hesitate to even fight against me. He tells that very clearly to Arjuna. There will be a time that you have to fight against me. Don't hesitate. Even if you have to kill me, go ahead and kill me. He takes a promise from Arjuna. This is something which Arjuna forgets in the previous verse. He tells my Gurujana, how can I do this? How can I do that? But he forgets he has actually made a promise to Dronacharya himself. Previous verse. Right. We discussed what is something which Arjuna is forgetting. He is forgetting that he has made a promise to Dronacharya himself that he will be fighting against him. And if needed, he will kill him. Same way, before the war, Bhishma called Yudhishthira and he tells that I know the plight you all have been gone through in your whole life. Right? There are lots of injustice which has been done against you all. Right? When I think of all those things which are done against you, I feel very sad, I feel very distressed, and even sometimes the ashru comes out of my eyes, sorry, not ears. Okay. So I I start crying also. The tears comes out of my eye. But because I'm on financial consideration of these people, right? They are maintaining me. The Rashtra is maintaining me. So it is my duty to fight on his side. Right? So he also takes a similar promise, like you will have to fight me, you will have to fight me. Right? It's like the time will come when you have to do that. So don't hesitate at that time. So Bhishma Pitama is very interesting character, right? So one of the most misunderstood character in whole Mahabharata. One of the most. I'm not saying the most. Most is Krishna. Right? People do a lot of this and that, and their mental speculation about Krishna. Why Krishna did it? Why Krishna did that? Right? But Bhishma Pitama is also one of them. He's one of the greatest devotee of the Lord. He knew about the Krishna. Even in the war, when he was on the bed of arrows, he tells Yudhishthira, when he asked like about life and soul and all that, he said, Narayana, what is he asked about purpose of life. He tells, your purpose of life is standing beside you. He is the purpose of life. Narayana himself, he tells that. He knew about Krishna from not like just during the war, from years. Right. But still he chose to be on the side of Kauravas. What is the reason? What do you think could be the reason? One is financial consideration. That is actually external reasons. What else do you think? He has taken a pledge of what? He will always protect Hastinapur, whoever rules. Correct. What else? What other reason could be? Any reason? So we'll go a little back. Even before that. Right. So anyone knows the first picture? We'll go long back before Bhishma Pitama was born. So King Santanu, Bhishma Pitama's father, right? So once after being separated from Ganga, right, he was walking in the jungle, and then he saw this lady. Who is this? Anyone knows? Satyavati. He sees the women Satyavati, right? And Satyavati, previously when she was a fisherwoman, she had a, I would not say curse, but she had a quality that from yojans, from long over many kilometers, right, she could be smelled like a fish, right? But after she was associated with Parashar Muni, he gave her a boon that now this will not be a bad smell, but it will be a good smell. So from many yojans, you will be like smelling so that people will get attracted to you. And she was very beautiful, very beautiful, right? So when Santanu, first of all, like he had from where the sweet smell is coming, many kilometers away he has, and then when he saw her, it was love at first sight. Like he was like, okay, he was already missing Ganga Devi from a long time, so he got his youth again came up, and he was like, love at first sight. I want this lady. I want this woman. So he asked hand of Satyavati. He said, you have to talk to my father. Not like today's time. Oh, is it? ठीक है निकल लेते हैं अगर पापा मम्मी से बोलते हैं अगर नहीं मानेंगे तो ठीक है अगर मान लिए तो अब मान लिए तो ठीक है नहीं मानेंगे तो will simply vanish after 1 year anyway they will accept what choice do they that's what happens nowadays I know one of my friends did that so he was घर निकाला उसका हो गया था when he married his case on 2 states when he married the girl outside his community so they were like and his family was a very influential family from Allahabad. Now, that time Allahabad, now Uttarakhand. And they were BJP leaders. And they threw him out. But this is it. अब से तुम्हारा इस घर से कोई संबंध नहीं हमारा तुम्हारा रिश्ता खत्म right like in movie happens I actually saw this thing happen and then they were all the whatever things he took from his family they returned all the cars and all everything he dropped at home after 1 year everything is okay again they got married right this time with full band, baja, bharat, and all those full function. Right. So that's what happens in Jammu. But this time, she told, that time it was not like that. You have to go ask hand from my father. So when Santanu goes ask hand from his her father. So he tells that he was first very excited. Okay, king, my my daughter is going to become a queen, right? Obviously, very exciting, right? Anyone would be super excited with this prospect. But then, but he knew he already had a son, so he was being a little selfish. No, no, no. I cannot marry my daughter because I have one condition that the progeny of my daughter and you, they will only rule after me. But Santanu used to love Devbrat. That time his Pitama was not his Pitama, he was Devbrat. Santanu used to love Devbrat with like so much, like very much affectionate with him. So he told, and also because she was the only last uh, symbol of Ganga Devi, right? So he said like, okay, that's not possible. He leaves. He comes back to Hastinapur, and then, but he was always lost, love at first sight. How people are lost after that. So he was always lost, not doing his duties properly, things properly. Always some things are happening in the assembly. He's thinking about Satyavati. So he like his Devbrati started noticing what is happening. Something is off, right? Something is happening. So he found out. What is the reason? And he found out like there was a love at first sight, and he wanted to marry, and he was rejected. So he goes in the second picture. You can see he goes to the Satyavati's father, and he asks for Satyavati's hand for his father. But then he said like, when he asks, he tells that I will not take the throne. I promise you that I will not take the throne. So the father, he was a little happy, but he said like, okay, I completely trust you that you will not take the throne. But what about your children? You may die and your children will just take the claim. Then what about them? Then that time this Devbrat took a vow. I will never even get married. Are you okay now? And being such a strong warrior, being a Kshatriya, right, who is next to the throne, he took that vow. It was a terrible vow. And terrible that in Sanskrit it's called Bheesma. मतलब बहुत ही कठिन, बहुत ही कठिन हो. That's why his name became Bheesma. He was called Devbrat before that. He was not Bheesma, right? And that was the story became Bheesma. And at that time only he took this he made this particular promise also that I will protect the throne of Hastinapur, whoever rules, right? It does not matter who is ruling Hastinapur, but I take the vow that I'll always protect. And that was one of the very important reasons he had to take a side of Kauravas because he had taken a front. Right. So these are some reasons. But like I told, Bheesma is very misunderstood character. He's being a devotee, but being on the side of Kaurava, a lot of people says that he could have had a choice, he could have done this. After all, he could have gone to sannyas, and then that means when he goes to sannyas, that means he's leaving all his Kshatriya duty, and then he could have simply became neutral and all those things. But no, right? There are more reasons. There are more internal reasons, spiritual reasons for that. So one of the reason is Krishna wanted to show. So Krishna, if he wants to show any lesson into people like Girivu, people like us, Patit people like us, he always shows those lessons through his devotee. Right? There are hundreds of such examples. So he wanted to teach the world a lesson, and that lesson was, however powerful you are, does not matter if you are at the side of adharma, you will be punished for your being aside. Right? He wanted to show the world that even if you are the most strongest person on the in the world, but if you are siding with adharma, you are going to be loser. You are going to be punished for sure. Right? And who could be better depict this kind of thing than his devotee? So Bhishma Pitama was taken for that reason. Another reason which Acharya gave, think of a scenario. If no Bhishma Pitama, Dronacharya, Kripacharya, all those strong warriors were on the side of Kaurava, do you think that Yudhishthir would even dare to have this fight? You remember the first chapter where he tells that my army is protected by Bhishma, right? He tells only few names, all the Kripacharya, Dronacharya, Bhishma, and all those warriors, which are like very pious people. He does not tell the name of Dusasan. Like he tells about Karna, but he does not tell the name of his brothers and all those people. Because if these strong people are not on the side of Kaurva, right? Not Yudhishthir. Duryodhan would not even dare to start the fight. He would have simply, "हाँ भाई, तुम लोग, now you give me 5 villages, I will go aside." Because he knew that he is going to be killed. But he was puffed up because he knew the Bhishma Pitama is the strongest warrior on the earth. Except, except who? Huh? Except Krishna, right? Bhishma Pitama is the strongest warrior on the earth. He knew that. That's why he was so puffed up. Arey, this is very easy. Right. So that is another reason. Like if they were not on the side of Kaurava, they would not have been battle. And the whole battle was what? We discussed that. What was the whole Mahabharata? This Kurukshetra war. Dharma Dharma ki yudh, but what exactly? Why it was all to kill all the Dharma people. It was all Krishna Leela, right? It was all plan of God. If there is no war, the plan is gone. Right? So Krishna was like, okay, no war, no plan, no, not good. So he was inciting Arjuna more. Go fight. What will happen to my plan? Right? I have assembled all those people at this place and then you'll say I'll not fight. So that's why there are powerful warriors on the Kaurava side. This is another reason. And then another third reason that which our Acharya say that. Not a very obvious reason because it does not come on the surface, but it is only devotee can a bhakt can understand that reason. When Krishna comes on earth, he wants to taste all kinds of rasa. Right. This why Krishna avatar we discussed that time. Why Krishna avatar is called Purna avatar because you see all kinds of rasa are available in this avatar. Right. Whether it's Vatsalya rasa or all kinds of rasa. Right. And in huge quantity, like in full quantity. Take any rasa and you'll see hundreds of stories for that. You cannot say the same for all other avatars. So he wanted to taste the Veer rasa. And who actually can give this? Who actually can give the experience of Veer rasa to? Veer rasa means the fighting chivalry spirit, right? That kind of mellow. Ras means mellow. That kind of spirit. And who else can give to Krishna that kind of feeling, that kind of experience? Certainly not Duryodhana, right? So only a devotee of Lord can give this kind of feeling to Krishna. When he was in Varaha Avatar, Hiranyaksh. Hiranyaksh, we remember, right? Who was Hiranyaksh? Huh? Hiranyaksh and Hiranyakashipu. Their brothers Jay and Vijay, right? Lord's devotee. They are the gatekeepers of Vaikuntha. They took avatar as a Hiranyaksh and Hiranyakashipu. And when he was in Vara avatar, he fought with Hiranyaksh thousands of years. He was just playing with him. Right? Even though he could do finish in a kya bolte, chutki mein. But he was just playing with him. He wanted to experience Veer Rasa. And no one else can give apart from Lord's devotee. Bhishma Pitama is one of the devotee who actually gave him the Veer Rasa. And more importantly, Bhishma Pitama took a vow. He took a vow that I will make sure Krishna lives weapon in this war. There is again a backstory of that. Sorry? No, that's okay. There is so there is again backstory of that. So what happened before at the time of war, Bhishma Pitama was he was fighting the war with his full strength, but then Duryodhana was always being skeptical that he always loves Pandava also. He always used to taunt Bhishma Pitama that you are not fighting, you love them, that's why you are not fighting with your full strength. So after a lot of taunting, Bhishma Pitama said that okay, I'm taking a vow. He took out 5 arrows from his tarkas, quiver, He took out 5 arrows from his quiver and then he said, I am taking a bow. Tomorrow I'll use these 5 arrows to kill 5 Pandavas. Right. So Duryodhana was happy. And Bhishma Pitama being a chaste person, right, with a brahmachari, right? He was a that was the reason he was most powerful person. He put all his strength into those 5 arrows. And he said, like, these 5 arrows will be used to kill tomorrow the Pandavas. I'm giving you that. Like, I'll take, not the bow, but I'm promising you that I'll do that. But Duryodhana was very happy. Okay, this is it. My plan is working. But then he still did not trust this Pitama. He said, like, okay, this is good. You will do that. Thank you. But you give me the arrow, I'll keep it safe with me. So he took the arrows with him to his camp. And what happens after that? There are two stories comes. One, it seems that it may not be very authentic stories. Story. A lot of places it is mentioned, but most of the places it is not. So it may not be authentic, but there is a story of when Bheema and Arjuna actually saved Duryodhana from Gandharva. There was a fight with Gandharva and they saved Duryodhana. This is true, but after that, what happened may not be authentic. So that time Duryodhana gave Arjuna a bow. Arjuna, like boon. Like I can give you a boon. You ask what you want. So he said, I will ask someday when I need it. Right now, I don't need anything. Right. So some stories say that this was the boon which was used, and some stories say otherwise. So what happens at that time? After the war, Krishna always he is full knowledgeable. He knew about the plan, so he tells about this to Arjuna. Right. And Arjuna, what he did, like he goes to Duryodhana's camp after the war, and he says that. So Duryodhana, oh Arjuna, that nowadays it is unthinkable. Think of Putin goes to Zelensky after sunset. All those kya kar rahe ho? How is life? Right. That does not happen. That used to happen at that time. The whole day they will fight with all their four sisters, killing each other. The bloodbath will happen. In the evening, when the sun sets, everyone goes back eating together, doing all the prajalpa of the day. Prajalpa means, if anyone knows, prajalpa means शिकायत ठीक doing all अरे ये बाबू अरे वो तो ऐसे करता है तो ये तो ऐसे करता है this is prajalpa. So chit chatting, doing all the prajalpa, each other's camp, that used to happen, right? So when Arjuna nowadays it cannot be think hot. Nowadays what happens? The risk comes with suicide waste. Either they will suicide or they will throw a bomb and run away. Forget about, you will not even know the face. Forget about knowing each other, right? So it's unthinkable today, but that time the moral codes of Kshatriya were very strong, that were very strongly followed. So he goes to Duryodhana's camp and Duryodhana, oh Arjuna, you came here, how are you? Come, what do you want? You want the kingdom? I'll give you. You just ask, right? So he tells like that in tauntingly, right? He knew that Arjuna will not do because of his prestige and self-ego. He cannot. He is a Kshatriya, right? He will not do that. But still he taunts because he can taunt. You can ask someone, अरे आप तो ऐसे करोगे भाई यार, think of a scenario like you are saying your manager, अरे आप तो promotion देने ही वाले हो, especially if you know he's not giving to give you promotion, still you taunt, right? Don't do that with manager, but you can, right? So he is taunting Arjuna, अरे you want the kingdom, you just ask, I'll give it to you, because he knew being a strong Kshatriya, he will not do that. But then Arjuna tells him that, no, I don't want the kingdom, but I want something else. Are you just ask, what do you want? I want those 5 arrows. Oh, okay. But now he's bound. Right? He's bound by either you think of that story which may not be authentic, he's bound by a vow, his promise, or the promise which he made just now. You ask for anything, I'll give it to you. Right? So now he had to give them. Being a Kshatri, even though he was a bad person, but however bad you are, the people used to follow Kshatriya code. Okay. So that is the reason we discussed. When Ashwatthama killed all those Draupadi Putra while they were sleeping, Duryodhana was the first one who actually scolded him, and he very badly scolded. This is not a Kshatriya code, what you have done. And he was very sad that this has been done. Right. So he was following, and then he had to give. And there goes the Bheesma Pitama's all his strength. in the arrows. So a lot of time people ask, then why he could not have 5 more arrows? Because he has already put his strength there. Those arrows are gone. So when Bhishma Pitama came to know about this thing, that my arrows are gone, they say, okay, my arrows are gone, but now I'm taking a bow. I'll ensure that Krishna lifts a weapon. Right. And Krishna, in our Shastra, Krishna is someone like Satya. There is something Satya. I forgot the exact term what it's called. I'm not written. Satya Sankar. Right. Krishna is. Oh, this is correct. So Krishna is someone or God. He's a Satya Sankar. Means whatever he decides, it is bound to happen. If he decides something, that means it will happen for sure. He's Satya Sankalpa. But then he sees that now my devotee, one of the favorite devotee has taken a vow that that he will make sure that I'll lift a weapon. So what he does? Okay, fine. I will break my vow so that his vow can be fulfilled. Not everyone can do that. He said that if I'll act like a god here, Satya Sankalpa, then there is no way that Arjuna can be harmed or he can make sure that I lift a weapon because I have taken a vow. But he leaves his godliness there. Like I will act not like a god but as a Bhaktavatsal. For his Bhakta's vow, he actually breaks his vow. And that's why being a Bhagwan, being a Krishna is not easy, right? If think of anyone else who's breaking a vow, they will not be glorified. But because he is a Bhagwan, even though he breaks his vow, he is glorified because he breaks a vow for his Bhakt. So that Bhakt can be glorified. Bhishma Pitama is glorified that he is the only one who made sure or who can make Krishna take out a weapon. So what Bhishma Pitama did next day? Next day he was arrow after arrow, so many arrows that Arjuna's all his weapons was like broken. His rath was broken. So Krishna was like he jumped from the ratha, took out the broken wheel, and he's like that's it. And when he was charging towards Bhishma Pitama put down and said, "This is it. This is the moment I want. Come and kill me." Right? What could be the best thing? What could be the better thing than being killed by the Lord himself? So it's like he'll put down all his weapons and he's like, just kill me. And that beautiful moment when he was charging, the Krishna's complexion was like he had all his uh, not complexion, but he was having covered with the dhuli, raj of battlefield. Right. Now Bhishma is imagining at that moment, he's just watching him with pure love and imagining when Krishna used to tend the cows, right? And when he goes to the ground and what he used to look like at that time when he was a small child, with his face, his body covered with that braj raj, right? He used to look that beautiful, and he is imagining these two scenarios. Now also Krishna is looking that beautiful, and he's like putting his weapon down. You can see he was like, "Come and kill me," right? And Arjuna stopped him. No, don't do that. So Bhishma Pitama is like all in awe of Krishna's beauty, and he's like, "This is the moment." And when he was on deathbed, actually, that is the reason why it was not really sun goes from Uttar to Dakshinayana and this and that. Those are all secondary reasons. The reason why Bhishma Pitama waited this long to leave the body because he wanted to have the moment when Krishna comes in front of him so that he can have the perfect death. His leaving the body is called as a perfect death because he's seeing the Krishna, not just thinking about Krishna. He's seeing Krishna, he's praying for him, and then he leaves the body. The best place in Vaikuntha is reserved for him. Right. We do the lives and lives and lives of practice just to get the moment so that at the time of death we can actually think about Krishna rather than thinking about बाल बच्चे पैसा बैंक अकाउंट पासवर्ड दिया कि नहीं दिया health insurance, right? Many lives we have to practice just to get to that moment where we can think about Krishna. This is why chanting is so important. If we cannot chant at the happy times, how can we actually do the chanting at the distressed times? when we are not well, when we are going to leave the body. Not possible. Think of someone who is not doing chanting. If they just hit by a simple stone, what comes out of their mouth? It's never the name of Krishna, but something bad word. Or something like that. Right. The whole life we do the practice just to get to that moment, just to get into the practice. One round will not do the work. Right. We have to, when we know, gradually and slowly we have to increase it, because there is no other way. If we'll not practice, if we think like there is a moment that anything happens to me, we only remember Krishna, maybe you can think of yourself at that level. But until we are there, we actually have to put our full effort in chanting, in becoming more and more Krishna consciousness. Right. But one of the most important lessons which we can take from this whole story of this verse. Right. So Krishna arranged this situation so that he can be his devotee can be glorified. Right. And okay, so coming back, that Krishna now he is saying Arjuna should not be a devotee, he should not succumb to this ordinary morality of the life, the material world. Right. And he's thinking that what will happen to my plan. So another reason, but Arjuna is giving his point. So another reason what is considered Arjuna's point here is like in today's term. We had in 2.3 also about authority when it was mentioned that okay, I think I went a little back. Like in one of the verses it was mentioned about authority, right? Such false magnanimity was not approved by any authority. So one of the reason which is causing a lot of problem in today's world is because there is an erosion of authority. Just 5 minutes. There is a huge erosion of authority in these days. People don't accept authority. No one likes to accept authority. Being a small child to the moment they are dying. Think of a small child. We always say that, "Arey, wo to bachcha hai, kya samjhega?" Right? Okay. But think of the older people. They're like, I have lived 70 years of life. How you are going to teach me? Have you met any such kind of your relatives? Like, you don't teach me. Okay? I have lived 80 years. ऐसे नहीं बाल सफेद किए. No, I have not lived 80 years. Not yet. Right. So I have lived millions of years, but in this body, not 80 years yet. Right. So they are like that. So no one likes to accept any kind of authority. Everyone wants. Why entrepreneurship is so a factor nowadays? I want to become entrepreneur. The first reason, because I cannot work under anyone. I am self-independent person. This is it. I cannot be controlled. Right. And when they get married, the first one they will be controlled. Right. When they get the kid controls them. So, however they think, try to become Ishvara, the controller, not possible. So, no one likes to work under authority. There is in this world there is an erosion of authority, and sorry, not that. Right. So, what happens here that because there is an erosion of authority, so not only from our generation but even from before generation also this will happen or this is happening. So what happens, like authority themselves, they or we don't set a good example for our next generation today. We are not accepting authority, how they will accept? Think of this Gen Z, how they are behaving in the office. Just think of that and you will understand what I'm talking about. Right. They're like they don't want to work, they just want to enjoy, but they want to earn 2 times than what you are earning, even after 10 years, 20 years of experience. And they're like, I will do only what I want to do. Work-life balance is the most supreme for me. No work-life balance? No. Now everyone will come to the line because AI is already taking their work-life balance. Either you have a job or you don't. Right. So now things maybe changing will change for everyone. But yeah, so this authority, what is authority? Like, first of all, authority in material sense is our elders. So when this authority will not pass the knowledge of Sistachar and Sadachar, then how the next generation will happen? And because they are not having this knowledge, this all things are getting lost slowly. And youngsters who used to follow the elders, not anymore. So from the elders, Elders, what they get? The youngsters get the love, they get the knowledge, they get the security. From superior, this is the thing which are passed on. And from the subordinates, what they get? They get the respect, they get the service, and love also. Love is both ways, right? It's not one way, right? So these kind of things are always in Sanatana or in any culture. These things are always working. But because of the erosion of authority, we don't follow any authority. This thing is gone. This thing is gone. And same point what we're discussing, like what is the supreme truth? What is the absolute truth? Same way, what is the supreme authority? Krishna, right? The word of God, the Krishna himself is the supreme authority. And here, authority, when the authority wise Arjuna is thinking, he's thinking the authority means my superiors, Drona, Bheesma, and all those people. Right? He's not thinking Krishna as authority yet. He's still not thinking Krishna as authority. And and now why this authority is being lost nowadays? We know all the reason, because nowadays it's a freedom of speech. Anyone can write anything. We have blogs, we have Twitter, we have Facebook, all the social media. The people who do not even know the Shastra, they write books, being a scripture, my commentary on scripture, my Gita. There are people, exactly, right? You have already told me. So there are people who are writing my Gita, right? So they don't know about the dharma. They are not Bhakta. How can a Bhakta explain Bhagavad Gita, which is about bhakti? So nowadays, previously, it was only the qualified people who used to write scripture. Not any Tom, Dick, and Harry will come and start writing scripture, right? But now everyone can write anything, whatever they want. You go to bookstore and you'll see so many books. If someone naive wants to have a Gita, and they will go to the Bhagavad Gita, they will go to Gita section, they will say 20 Gita, now they will come out. Okay, maybe next line. What will I take? Or if someone gives me, then I'll take. So, because now everyone can express their opinion in the name of freedom of speech, there is a erosion of authority. Because they don't respect authority. They are not propagating what authority really means. And this erosion of authority is causing these all kind of problems. The respect, the way how the knowledge is passed, right? All those things are getting lost, and that's why society is not functioning properly. So in the first two chapters, what you will see that these first two chapters are nothing but it's a kind of commentary on the modern or even that time society, which is more relevant to the modern society. Right? It is all the lessons in the first two chapters. We'll see all the lessons which are coming from why we go here and there, why we not, like in our lecture, why we just not stick to the God. We go to the topic of authority, manager, abortion, and all those things. Because this first two chapters, you will see this is nothing but a commentary on modern society. What lessons we can take from these two chapters, from the verses, how to live life in this age. Right. So anyway, we'll finish off with this. Next time we'll see that we discuss Arjuna has not accepted Krishna as authority yet. We'll see next time what he does. Any question? No? How about it?
Because we don't feel others and side. So we just go and post Telegram.
विश्व पितामह क्यों नहीं गए? यही तो वो सारे रीजंस थे. अगर भीष्म पितामह चले जाते, let's say if Bhishma Pitama would have gone to the Kaurava side, who could have given the Veer Rasa to? Do you think anyone else from the Kaurava side can give the experience of Veer Rasa to Krishna? Anyone else? Vidur is already come to Pandava side, by the way. You are taking example from Ramayana, you can take example from Vidur, from Mahabharata itself. Vidur is also like on this, like he is Dhritarashtra's brother, right? But he came to Pandava's side. But they are not. They are all devotees of Lord, right? But they are not at that level that they can give this feeling to Krishna. And there are so all the reasons. If Bhishma Pitama himself would have come, let's say only one example, is if Bhishma Pitama would have come towards the side of Pandava, you think there would have been a war? It was all because Duryodhan knew that he had Bhishma Pitama on his side, who is the strongest warrior on the whole earth. He was so puffed up that he like, let's have a war. If there was no Bhishma Pitama on his side, forget that there was a war. And the whole plan, it was all Krishna Leela. It was all planned by Krishna. All those reasons, right? There are not just one reason either. And when Krishna has to teach something, he has to take his devotee to teach that lesson. Vibhishan himself is a lesson for devotee. But then there was even a more fierce warrior than Vibhishan. Vibhishan, when he came towards, think of Ravana came towards that side, this side. There would not have been a war, right? But because there was already a more fearsome, more stronger warrior towards the other side. So it really did not matter much if when Vibhishana came. But when Bhishma came, it's like सबसे strong तो उठा लिया बचा क्या, right? So that was the reason. Other might have, but not Bhishma Pitama. And it was all Leela Bhagwan. It was all his thing that everyone will be gone. Any other questions? Right? We will finish up with that. One checker to the best set of us and the chairs at the time. Power in the West and the number of the West of the teacher saying for past the entire God very very important. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, make up for that.